Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will have its official inauguration on April 21st, 2015, with courses commencing soon after, on May 4th, 2015. The students of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will be the leaders of the future who will make changes in all areas of space technology, science, medicine, agriculture, and energy. Anyone is able to apply, but acceptance is through invitation only. No prerequisites are required. We will be accepting approximately 250 students for the 3-year Executive Master's Program and 120 students for the 1-year Executive Master's Program. We welcome humanity's participation in the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Where does humanity go from here? That is up to you. By today.
Okay, that was the promotional movie for the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, and now we'll get into the main body of the 20th Spanish-speaking Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. I hear some buzz in the background. That must be Mr. Keshe at the main control area. Let's see what they have to show here. Mr. Keshe, are you there?
Yes, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, and the Spanish-speaking world. We are here to learn from you. I'm sure you're going to teach us something nice today.
Lugar que estén y dice que está aquí con nosotros para que con el
We're getting your feedback.
Is that okay now?
Yep.
Okay. Con el
feedback.
Taller o workshop que ahora iniciamos para habla hispana, dice que le vamos a enseñar algo. Siempre nos pone a nosotros a que traigamos un conocimiento o una investigación o una búsqueda.
Can you close your live stream? We can hear backwards.
I close the sound, but
no, it's not that system.
Turn off Skype.
Yes, Skype open.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Have you seen this one? They've got in the growing of agriculture now.
Fine.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'll go ahead. And here, Mr. Keshe, after this review that you could make for us in the presentation of home gardening by Laura, my wife, you made some very interesting comments on how to use the CO2 gans in different ways, with a ring and with some little bottles around the plant. And Laura,
somebody has a live stream or a Skype open because we hear too much echo, too much repeat. Somebody somewhere has a system open. Hello?
Yeah, I'm...
Okay, should be okay. Carry on.
Okay. So this is a presentation of the new experiment that she designed with several plants to be observed in different variation of or ways of applying the gans, the CO2 gans to the plant. This is the idea and so that you can see if this is the what comments can you make to us. So here on the screen is the explanation. I'm going to say it in Spanish. Siguiendo las sugerencias de Mr. Keshe, después de haber presentado los casos de recuperación de dos plantas severamente secas, utilizando gans de CO2 en un anillo y en un frasco pequeño, ahora diseñó un nuevo experimento con 5 plantas del mismo tipo, origen y tamaño, para probar diferentes modos de usar los gans de CO2. Este es el informe de preparación para iniciar observaciones. Okay, next slide. It says it's just the announcement of the new experiment, and the next slide it is presented. Esta es la iniciación, es la primera imagen de la propuesta. This is in Spanish. Experimento en macetas, 5 plantas del mismo vivero, mismo tamaño y condición aparente. La fecha de iniciación y lo que se tiene. Había una primera maceta que se destruyó por un problema de un pájaro que se metió y se tuvo que descartar. La maceta 2, la ven ustedes a la izquierda abajo, es ya que tiene un anillo interno, tiene dentro de la tierra, tiene a 3 centímetros de profundidad, un aro con 5 mililitros de gans de CO2 y agua destilada al 50%. La maceta 3 tiene ahí 3 botellitas para hacerlo. La 4, la maceta 4 es la que es testigo. Esta no tiene ninguna aplicación de gans. Y la maceta 5 es la maceta que tiene un aro en la superficie. Es como empezamos haciendo experimentos. Y este es al 50%. Next slide is in English. So experiment in pots. 5 plants of the same nursery, same size and appearance. The starting date, pot 1 is discarded because it was damaged. Pot 1 is a ring with 5 milliliters of gans of CO2 at 50% mixture. It's buried at 3 centimeters deep. It is a new approach we hadn't used. And the plant 3, or pot 3, it uses 3 bottles with 3 milliliters of gans of CO2. And the witness is pot number 4. And pot number 5, it doesn't have. The witness is natural, let's say. The pot number 5 is has a ring on the surface with the same doses of 5 milliliters of gans and water. And this is how the experiment is designed, and we're going to be making observations on each one of these different approaches and to register a different number of parameters. These are the parameters to register. En español digo que esta presentación de las plantas es cómo se va a hacer el experimento. En cada una se van a medir estos parámetros a lo largo del tiempo, de aquí en adelante, para ver crecimiento, número de hojas, condición de las hojas, frecuencia de riegos que requiera, amarillamiento que pueda presentarse, plagas, enfermedades en el suelo, espesor de tallo, temperatura ambiente, vientos y lluvia, para distinguir los casos extremos, sobre todo, a ver si tiene algún efecto. In English, I said is the parameters are growth, number of leaves, conditions of leaves, frequency of irrigation, yellowish of leaves, plagues, disease and soil, stem thickness, temperature, and winds. And we were going to be following, she's going to be following all these indexes and register them. And here it is how they are ready, each pot, how it is ready to begin the experiment. Here is the number 4, which is the witness. We use this scale, which says that it's 13.5 centimeters high, measured from this level. It has two thin, tall stems, and has in each one 11 in one and 8 in one, 8 leaves and 11 leaves. There is one leaf affected in the edge, which is a characteristic of this plant apparently. And in Spanish I can say, este es el testigo, es una planta de la misma especie que todas las demás, fue elegida para eso, para que también tenga un crecimiento que se pueda observar rápido y no sea demasiado grande, pero que se eligió a la testigo con 2 tallos largos, hojas 11 en uno de ellos, 8 en otro de ellos. Se presenta una hoja afectada en la orilla, que es una característica que se presenta en las otras también, y la vamos a estar observando a ver su causa y cómo evoluciona. Y tiene la planta 13.5 centímetros de alto desde la altura que se usa de referencia, que es el borde de la maceta misma. Okay, next is plant number 2. It is the one with the ring under. And esta es la planta con un anillo enterrado a 3 centímetros. A la derecha se ve el testigo y a la izquierda está precisamente cómo empieza esta planta. Y las observaciones iniciales es que tiene un tallo más grueso que el testigo, tiene 12 hojas, es 1 centímetro más corta que el testigo, una hoja corrugada, que es muy extraña, y una quemada en la punta, como pueden ver en los círculos de la izquierda. So the observation is that it has a thicker stem than the witness, 12 leaves originally, 1 centimeter shorter than the witness, and it presents 1 corrugated leaf. We don't know why, but it is there to be observed, and 1 is burned in the tip, in these red circles, and just presenting the case so that we can compare with the evolution of the plants. Next, it shows this strange corrugated leaf. We don't know what it is. It doesn't seem to be a sickness, but it is there, and we're going to be observing it. Esta es la hoja corrugada. Next, la siguiente es el caso de la planta que tiene 3 frascos diferentes y tiene un tallo más grueso que el testigo, que está a la derecha. Es 2 centímetros más corto que el testigo, tiene 10 hojas al principio y tiene 3 hojas afectadas en la orilla que vamos a ver en la siguiente lámina, pero lo voy a decir en inglés. This is the pot with 3 bottles of gans forming a triangle. That's a different way of positioning the effect of the gans. And what is observed is that it has a thicker stem than the witness, 2 centimeters shorter than the witness, 10 leaves in the beginning. 3 leaves are affected in edge, so that we can register it and see if it evolves. Continúa en inglés, 3 leaves close to a bottle of gans here, so that we can see if this is going to be affected. But it is not the cause. The witness has some of this also. So this is an interesting point of observation of how it is going to be responding with the gans. Son 3, este es el caso de las 3 hojas cercanas a una botella de gans. Estamos explicando que aquí están en el círculo, y también el testigo tiene de esto. Entonces es un punto de observación para esta planta que no conocemos y qué efecto pueden tener los gans, ya que pues empezamos viendo cómo recuperaban vida unas plantas que estaban muy maltratadas. So, next slide. It's the 5th pot with a ring above the surface. You can see it in the left, and the right is always the witness. And we observe that it has a stem as thick as the witness. It's 4 centimeters shorter than the witness, and it has only 8 leaves in the beginning, and 1 leaf is affected in the edge. So, in Spanish, vemos aquí que tenemos el caso de otra forma de poner la influencia de los gans en la planta, es con un anillo lleno de gans sobre la tierra. Observamos que la planta tiene un tallo igual de delgado que el testigo, es 4 centímetros más corta que el testigo, tiene 8 hojas al principio, tiene una hoja afectada en la orilla. Next, please. And here is the, I don't want to call it damage, it's strange, what is it? I don't know, but we will be observing it and see if the gans have some effects in it, and this is the end of the cases. But there's a fact already. Upon arrival, the plants have to be irrigated every 2 days in these 2 weeks. And after these 2 weeks with the gans, they need it only every 3 days, but all equal, including the witness. Why? We wonder, and we ask if it could be the position of the witness between the 2 plants with gans. Here's the number 2. You remember is the plant with a ring buried 3 centimeters. The number 3 is the one with a triangle of 3 bottles, and number 5 is the ring above the surface. And number 4 is in the middle of those. And we wonder if the gans are also affecting the witness, which will call for a modification of the position of the witness. En español les digo que hay un hecho luego que observamos que al llegar las plantas requerían regarse cada 2 días en estas 2 semanas que fueron de observación inicial, y con los gans ya requirieron ahora solo cada 3 días, todas igual, incluyendo al testigo que debía haber seguido con 2 cada 2 días, más frecuente. ¿Por qué fue esto? Y creemos que quizás es porque la planta, como está colocada en la posición 4, muy cercana a la planta 3 y la planta 5, que tienen gans, quizás están teniendo influencia, o sea, la influencia está saliendo más allá de las macetas y está teniendo influencia sobre la planta 4, con lo cual, si esto ahorita nos lo puede confirmar el señor Keshe, pues habremos de hacer un cambio importante en el experimento y mover la planta 4 o ver qué es lo que tenemos que hacer. So, here's the question. Perhaps we can go back for asking Mr. Keshe if this can be the possible cause of this behavior of the witness. I wonder if it was clear, Mr. Keshe. Well, I don't see anything. I don't care. Perhaps we can follow and we'll go back to it afterwards.
Can you hear us?
I can hear. I can hear it.
Yes, we can.
Can we go back on the first picture, please, where all the plants were together? Number 5. Did you measure the height of these plants before you start?
Yeah, well, we're measuring it. Yeah, you have a scale, and it is shown in the pictures.
No, what I'm saying is this is after 2 weeks, but from the beginning, when they came in. No,
we didn't measure that. We considered that we will start now with 2 weeks of settling the plants and the environment and the situation, but not in the beginning without any affection. No. Me pregunta el señor Keshe si se le midió la altura a las plantas antes de ponerle los GANs de estas 2 semanas de observación, y le respondo que no, que apenas estamos empezando las medidas y eso nos va a faltar. Perhaps we can repeat the experiment if necessary. Now we know how.
Number 5. Can you hear me?
Yes.
This picture, which you took 4 of them together, was before you start or after you started?
It was taken, those are pictures at the beginning, before, at the initial positioning of the GANs.
Because what we see is maybe what you have now after 2 weeks has to become the benchmark.
Okay.
Because we cannot say, as I see in picture number 5, there is already a burnt leaf there. As you see in number 3, if I'm correct, we see some exactly what you're trying to explain, different things. So now we have a height measure. And this should be referenced. Then from now on, we've got to see what happens, because you should have done this at the beginning before you started the test.
Yes, we should have.
So we can't say that, because I've done this before. You think you remember and you don't remember what you put in at the beginning.
No.
So this has become a benchmark, and we see where we're going to go.
It is an interesting question, because when Laura picked up the plants, she said that she looked for them to be about the same height, but not measured, not precisely measured. So perhaps it is recommendable that, it's advisable that we repeat that. We can do that if necessary, because if we are making a mistake at the beginning, we will carry it on the rest of the experiment.
Yes, I can see the test plant, the one that's the witness, so supposedly has 19 leaves, while the others, some of them have half that number. So it's obviously, it's got a big advantage right off the start.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're all rooting for the underdog, but in this case, having twice as many leaves is pretty. It's a hard one to catch up on, comparatively.
Oh yeah.
Getting a really strong echo problem right now.
Yeah, it's from us here. We're getting sorted.
Okay.
Our cameraman was asleep.
Okay. Yeah, I see. I think
we're going to use this as a benchmark. We go because the number of leaves, especially at this stage, counts. There is more. The plants look the same, healthy and not healthy, the same. So if we use this as a benchmark, then we can carry on. Then we can explain what's what.
Okay.
Usually the effect of the CO2 or a gans is around about 20 centimeters.
It's no more than 20 centimeters?
No.
Okay.
So if you separate your pots more than 20 centimeters, you are very well in the same condition.
Okay. So let me see if I understood.
Look at the leaf of that plant. You can see the separation between the leaves. The separation between the leaves gives you an indication of the conversion of the CO2.
Okay.
The plants create their leaves in according to how much CO2 they can absorb from their environment.
I see, yes.
Because that's the state of the health of the plant.
First of all, they absorb amino acids. Secondly, they absorb and create water for themselves internally. So you have to see the position. When you look at this leaf of this plant, this gives you a lot of information about the energy carrying of the plant. If you look, it's got a single tip. If I'm correct, there's only one tip on each leaf.
Yeah.
Which means this plant is not carrying much energy in the essence of the minerals as such. Because when you have, let's say, the same plant, if you had a dilla or you had a parsley, you get a different number of pinpoints, and the pinpoints, the heads, dictates the magnetic field flow from the plant to its environment.
Mm-hmm.
When you have more tip to absorb more, and the distance from the ground or the earth level dictates how much energy from the earth you absorb. The way the plant folds backwards or plant goes upwards shows the completion of the magnetic field flow. When you look at a plant, it gives you the exact behavior of what to expect from the plant, or a shrub, or the herb, or the tree. So this plant, the way is organized, and as Rick indicated, the spacing between the leaves shows the amount of CO2 which the plant needs to absorb, and the way it absorbs the flow of the what you call CO2 conversion of the gans. One of the tests which you should have done or do is do a test on how dirty the leaves are. If you clean one leaf, how much dirt you see or how much fat you can absorb. These are all indication of why one of the plants, for example, dies. Because when you absorb amino acid, you create a food supply for the other animals. One of the things which most of the farmers don't understand, and then they use pesticides, why does a plant, let's say a fly goes to the plant? Because the amino acid in extraction of the CO2 which gets absorbed on the leaf is a food supply. And if there is a metal conversion, now you have a cycle of food for the plant.
Very well.
This is the way that the new science of plasma can explain things in a very simple way. Now we know if you create a condition, you can absorb what is in the environment. And most of the plants with a single leaf, a single point, due to their structure, absorb and attracts, and if you touch them, they feel a bit greasy, fatty, because they absorb most of the energy directly from the air, upper air condition, and the protein which comes within the absorption of CO2. This is one of the characteristics of these plants. And then the shape of the leaf, if it's long or short or a little oval shape, this dictates everything to tell you how is happening and what is happening. This is what it has to be added to the knowledge in agriculture. The leaf turns downwards in a single point, so it completes the circle of the flow of the magnetic field or energy field which comes to it.
Okay, let me try to translate all this product knowledge. Nos aclara el señor Keshe de ver las condiciones, nos hace la pregunta primero, si se midió la altura de las plantas al principio antes de poner estas 2 semanas de observación con GANs, y lamentablemente no tenemos esa medida. Sabemos que se fueron compradas con la idea de que tuvieran la misma altura, sobre todo, pero sin haberla medido con una regla, digamos. Entonces no podemos estar seguros Entonces esto es nada más es un punto de referencia, un benchmark, y no un experimento completo, pero puede hacerse. Después nos explica que hay muchas otras cosas que observar para entender cómo funcionan los gans en el crecimiento de las plantas, en su nutrición. Hay efectos como este que está ahorita en la pantalla, donde podemos ver varias cosas. Una sería la distancia entre las hojas. La distancia entre las hojas es importante porque las energías son absorbidas por la planta, o sea, por la tierra primero, pero por los gans, por otro lado del aire, y por el aire de otro lado. Y se acomodan de manera de que puedan absorber y poder crecer. Precisamente en esta imagen, ven hasta arriba que hay dos plantas, aquí se ve a la izquierda, están dos hojas de la planta nacidas del mismo punto del tallo, se van naciendo en pares, y eso va indicando su altura y va significando cómo está buscando la planta la energía que viene de arriba. Y también entender que desde el suelo está absorbiendo energía, pero las hojas también toman, con sus campos magnéticos gravitacionales, toman energía desde el suelo y la toman por abajo, digamos, y la están absorbiendo. Son otros factores que vale la pena medir y observar su evolución para poder incorporar todo el nuevo conocimiento que se va a tener para tomarlo en cuenta en la nueva agricultura, por así en general. Hay otros efectos que nos ha mencionado, de que las puntas, como por ejemplo a la punta de la derecha en esta misma imagen, la punta quemada, quiere decir que no está llegando, los gans no están llegando, la energía no está llegando hasta la punta, no se está distribuyendo debidamente, entonces, a lo largo de toda la hoja y probablemente desde antes. Entonces, estos son aspectos que se tienen que tomar en cuenta para poder distinguir cuál es el verdadero efecto que estén teniendo en este caso, pues las botellitas de gans o el aro, la forma de proveer de gans a la planta. Eric, no sé si tú tienes alguna observación. Eric.
Gracias, Enrique. Primero que todo, sí, aló.
¿Aló?
¿Me oyes?
Sí.
¿Me estás oyendo? Perdón.
He's on his way to China, I think, Eric.
Perdón, ¿me están oyendo? ¿Aló?
Hello, we can hear you.
Ok. Primero que todo, buenas tardes para todos. Me parece que ya ha dicho todo lo que había que decir al respecto. Me alegra de oírlos por acá. Por favor, Enrique, continúa.
Okay, Mr. Keshe. I have to say that obviously it got the same type of soil, of earth that was used, and we will be watching and measuring everything from now on, but it calls my attention that maybe we can come up with a new experiment with, which is not very complicated after this experience, and start from the beginning by choosing plants with exactly, more than exactly the same characteristics of Haiti.
No, it is, in a way, you should leave it as it is.
Okay.
This is a natural process. We learn from it and see how it goes. We look at the development in the long run, not the short term or a few weeks.
Fine. Dice el señor Keshe, le decía yo que quizá que vamos a seguir con este experimento, pero que quizá convenía iniciar otro experimento con con condiciones más idénticas, vamos a decir, de las plantas, pero me dice que no es necesario, que debemos aceptar que es un proceso natural y que cada una va a ser diferente, aunque quisiéramos encontrarlas idénticas, no las vamos a encontrar. Y que aprendamos de este experimento y sepamos lo que se vaya mostrando ahora pronto, en los siguientes días, pero también en el mediano plazo, cuando las plantas tomen supuestamente más vigor, más altura y podamos tener como conclusiones más obvias. Esto apenas es el inicio y nos está sirviendo para saber cuáles son otros factores que tenemos que observar o medir en el caso posible de la evolución de la planta, y me parece que ha sido muy interesante. Hay una parte que no recuerdo, Eric, ojalá me puedas ayudar, dijo algo de que los gans tienen un efecto hasta los 20 centímetros. ¿Estoy entendiendo bien?
Siento que exactamente eso fue lo que dijo el señor Keshe. Es decir, si hablamos del tubo de la manguera, quien dice, del borde de la manguera hacia afuera tiene 20 centímetros su efecto y hacia adentro otros 20 centímetros, es lo que explicó el señor Keshe.
Muy bien.
Personalmente me gustaría que contaras algo en la matica que tengo yo de las maticas que tengo de, ¿cómo se llama? De aguacate.
Sí.
Tengo el mismo efecto en las hojas. Hay dos hojas que tienen exactamente el mismo problema que las que estás mostrando, que secan en el borde de la matera, como quien dice. Si pones un paralelo en el borde de la matera hacia arriba, ¿no? Ahí se está secando la hoja.
It's a long way to run to Napoli, huh?
Trata de explicarlo si puedes, yo mando fotos luego.
Okay. Mr. Keshe, Eric is adding something interesting. He says that in his own experiment with the avocado plant that we know, that he showed us in another session, he's observing the same effect on the edges of the leaves. And he says that he's going to send me the pictures of what has happened and see if we can learn from the two cases. That's interesting.
No problem.
También hay una hoja enrollada, como la que estabas mostrando tú. O sea, son dos cosas, dos efectos en dos plantas diferentes y dos efectos muy iguales. Tenemos que mirar eso.
Sí. Okay. Eric is telling me that one of the leaves shows that it is rolled over. Here is in the center, in the central circle, let's say, and this is something that we also have to make observations about. And well, this is it. And then if we go ahead, Rick, we can. Well, this is it. Then we just Laura included this report, this visual report of the plants that originated the interest for this experiment, how they have been evolving without any measure, just visual. And it is the one that was kind of dry. You can see it in the left picture, the picture of the left. It was almost dry when she started putting. That's when you advise her to put not one but 3 bottles of gans around. In the picture of the right, you can see the 3 little bottles, and the plant is now alive. It is completely. It isn't green. No, the former one. The former one, Rick. The previous one. Well, the previous one is alive. You can see that it has leaves. It has leaves in it, and it is green. And it is very, very encouraging to see the effect of this. Okay, there's no more observation. And the second, which was the first plant we she experimented with. It was kind of dry, but it was not the same. And now it is the following. The following image, you can see that it is much greener. It is originally, when it is healthy, it is a green plant with lots of leaves. And now it is it has this aspect of very, very green and has many little leaves that are developing. So it's just a way of showing with great happiness that it is working, but we don't have a mixture. I will say it in Spanish. Bueno, les decíamos que hemos terminado la presentación y el aprendizaje tan grande que tuvimos de cómo conducir el experimento y qué medir, pero también Laura presenta aquí los efectos que han tenido el anillo de Gans, en este caso que está mostrado en la pantalla, y en la otra planta que tiene 3 botellitas de Gans, cómo han evolucionado desde el 30 de marzo hasta el 4 de mayo, que fue ayer que lo fotografió para mostrarlo, y es nada más una revisión visual, no tomamos parámetros ni nada, pero es muy entusiasmante ver que sí está ocurriendo un proceso de vital en esto. Well, esto termina la presentación. Well, Mr. Keshe, we thank you very, very much. We will take into account what you said for us and include it in the...
Thank you very much for your work.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So we'll see you next week.
We'll see you
Thank
next
you very
week.
much.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, Rick. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye, Rick. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
Yes, we'll be ready for another round.
Yeah, I think you'll have to better move to Europe, otherwise you will have no life, or you do a night shift.
Well, I think, well, for me it's actually better to do the night shift than the day shift most of the time, but it's, yeah, it could be a bit of a challenge. We could use some relief perhaps, but it's working out fine so far with my end, but I don't know how Vince is going to be. Yeah, he has to go off to work in minutes here, so.
Okay, we got to find support here in Europe.
Okay. This is a much better sound, I must say. Thank you. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Thank you very much.
Okay.
See you tomorrow morning, Rick and Vince.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.